I want to give you a little tip on how I do it all while keeping my kids happy and content, and that's wearing them in the Ergo Baby Omni 360. I love my Ergo Baby Omni 360 because it allows me to get stuff done while they want to be held. In the 360, you can actually use it from the point that they're that little tiny human nugget that's all squishy and really needy up until the point that they might actually break your back. Although there is great support. I use it when they're cranky at dinner time, but obviously someone still needs to make dinner. Cleaning, DJing. Go to fruitsofmotherhood.com/ergobaby to get free express shipping on any order. That's fruitsofmotherhood.com/ergobaby. Now back to this amazing episode. Okay. Hi, my name is Linda Fruits from Fruits of Motherhood, and tonight we're going to be comparing my life as a stay-at-home mom to Evan's life from Viral Dads on Instagram, who is also a stay-at-home dad. And we're going to figure out if he also gets touched out by the end of the day. So, hi, Evan. I'm going to have you introduce yourself since we both know how exciting it is to talk to another adult.
Yes, very exciting.
So tell me
Uh,
about your kids.
yeah, so my name is Evan. I live in the Chicago suburbs, and I have been a proud stay-at-home dad for 5.5 years. And this summer it'll be six, oddly enough. But I've got two little guys, 15 months apart right now, two boys, toddlers. One of them just turned six, and the other is 4.5. And it has been the hardest job I've ever had by a landslide, and also the most purposeful and meaningful job at the same time. So I feel very fortunate to have the opportunity to see so much of their life. Some days drive me nuts. I've lost lots of hair. I've gotten more grays from it, but I truly feel like the luckiest man on earth, just given the opportunity. I know so many can't do what I do and what we do and don't have that opportunity. So I feel very fortunate and try and bite my tongue whenever I bitch and moan about it too long.
It's okay. We're allowed to complain.
I know it's kind of therapeutic
It
in a way.
is.
I truly believe that venting is can be healing, and when you have somebody else who understands your hardships, it's not complaining. It's just kind of sharing and supporting
Yes.
through shared experiences and hardships. So
That's a good way to put it. So you said that you have been a stay-at-home dad for almost 6 years, but your oldest is six,
just turned six. So
just turned six.
yeah, I've been home with him since he was 3 months old. So
Oh, wow. So the whole time.
the whole time, yeah, and
Wow.
not planned for, not strategized. Me and my wife, we've been together a long time, and planning and big plans and all that, it's not our strong suit. And we, on a whim, we weighed pros and cons of. I always thought we both should be working. We're not doctors and lawyers and all that. And I was like, we need two incomes. Kids are expensive from everything I had heard and learned. And um, I thought we just both had to be working parents. She was uncomfortable with a daycare. Didn't want
Mm-hmm.
to put a 6 month old in a daycare if we didn't have to. So we tried a nanny and went through the whole gamut of interviewing and letting people in our house. And it was a nightmare experience. And then finally, in the 11th hour, we got a personal referral, and she started, and it was great. But then she gave us a week's notice and went back to the other family she had been
Oh,
with for like
no.
almost a decade. So she gave us a week to figure it out. And I had been pretty burnt out doing what I was doing in sales in the beverage industry. And she really encouraged me to consider it. I grew up with younger brothers, changing diapers,
Mm-hmm.
babysitting, always wanted to be a dad, never really envisioned myself as a stay-at-home dad. But she, believed in me. And in hindsight, it's been one of the best things we've ever done for our family, hopefully. But just for
Yeah.
me personally, it's been pretty powerful as well. So.
That's awesome. I mean, no better person to take care of their kids than their own
Hey,
parents.
you said it. If you can do it, do it. And even if you can't, I don't know. So many people count it out, especially men, because we get so hung up on our jobs and our titles and our income,
And traditional
and just traditional, yeah,
ways.
just roles and what you should be doing as a man and a provider, that you immediately count it out. Like, no, hell no, I'm not doing that. Like,
Right.
went to school, I went to college, I got this and that. I'm too good to change diapers. But like, I really encourage everyone to don't be scared financially about if you can make it work, because if we can make it work, it's scraping by,
Yeah.
and you realize how much frivolous things you're throwing money at, and you feel pretty damn good when you know you're sacrificing an extra night out or a nice pair of shoes or something because you're
Not
investing
going
it in
anywhere
your kids.
anyways.
Yeah, yeah, like you know that money is going right back to your kids, or the time that's also valuable that you won't get back. So don't be too quick to say I'll never do it if you're a new parent or an expecting parent. Really, really weigh pros and cons, and I highly recommend it personally. So
So tell me about your first year. You said your kids are 15 months apart. So you had one at first, and then tell me
yeah,
about when you added a second one.
oh my god, yeah, back to not having a plan. I mean, we wanted multiple kids, but we weren't anticipating it happening as quickly as it did. So yeah, we had a 1 year old while my wife was pregnant, and we were still figuring out how to raise one, let alone two. And it was crazy just for us to wrap our heads around that, and especially for my wife, who, she had just given birth not too long ago. Now she's baking another one in there. And the first year is crazy. And I truly think if I can handle two under two, like as a stay at home dad full time with diapers and bottles, and my kids suck at sleeping, they still do. Like they were not good through the night until they were like 3, almost 4. So,
Oh my gosh.
God bless if you got good sleepers, but we didn't have that at all. And
Mm-hmm.
it was trying. Like it was a blur. They were so close in age. It really was a blur. I mean, it was sleepless nights and just crazy days for so long. But with that said, if we could do it again, I do think having them close in age is actually the way to go personally, because I don't know, you're already doing diapers, you're already
You might
not
as well get it
sleeping.
over with.
Yeah, you're just doing it a little more for a little longer versus
Yeah.
taking a break and then diving back in when it's behind you. So I would, if I had to do it again, I would do it again, even though we didn't plan it that way, having them close. And even now seeing them, they're like hip to hip. I mean, they're not,
Mm-hmm.
they get sick of each other and they beat on each other, but
Of course. Yeah.
they've got
I have.
such a special bond, and developmentally they push each other. And my little guy, he's always done things so fast because he wants to get done with diapers, like because his brother's done. He wants, he
Oh,
just
that's
started reading
adorable.
upstairs. I caught my wife reading some Dr. Seuss with them, and like he was 4.5 and he was cranking out some pages. And it's like
Oh my
he
goodness.
he pushes himself because he sees his brother and he idolizes him. So it's cool to see that, older brother gets sick of younger brother, but
Mm-hmm.
it's really been a special thing to watch them grow so close to each other. So
Yeah, for sure. I have two boys too, in the same thing, and they're 24 months apart.
okay.
But I mean, that is a little bit different than 15 months, but still, they're
Yeah,
very
well,
close in
it's
age.
at that age, it's when they're little, it's all crazy and
Mm-hmm.
it's all a mess, and it's
So
wild. So Godspeed to
since
you.
Yeah, so since your wife worked, did you do the night shift for the kids?
Yeah, as much as I could. I mean, I couldn't breastfeed, so, but I certainly tried to help as much as I could.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't anything like you got this, babe, like you're the mom. Like, I mean, we were both up and we tag teamed it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's so crucial to have a partner that you both put in the work. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
it takes, they say it takes a village, and I say it takes a team. Like it really
Mm-hmm.
takes, if you have two parents, it's the best. And, that's also a shout out to single parents who do it all by themselves. And I don't know how they do it, because whenever I have my kids alone for a night or multiple nights, I'm just like, holy cow, I miss my wife. Like I could use it right now. But yeah, no, I was up many a night, pulling stored milk and helping
Mm-hmm.
out with any feedings, or I will not give any sleep advice on what to do with
No, I
newborn
was just
babies
like,
that won't sleep. No, because I got nothing there. We were winging it. We tried everything in the books ourselves, and
mm-hmm.
we probably were too attentive to them. Some people may say, just to let them figure out how to soothe themselves. But that first child, it breaks your heart to hear them
Oh
screaming,
my
and
gosh.
you just want to
Yeah,
run
of
in
course.
there and
It
pat their
doesn't
little
get
back.
any easier with the second one either.
No, not at all. So,
I thought it would. I thought I was going to be ready to handle that differently, but no.
nope, that's all. It's
So
always fun.
tell me about your wife. Tell me about how you guys met. What does she do?
Oh yeah, she's my rock. She's my best friend. Our relationship is rooted in friendship. We met in college, many moons ago. So we've been together like 15 plus years now. Even before that, we were best friends for probably 2, 3 years. I was in college and single for the first time in my life, and she, God bless her, patiently waited for me to get my shit together, for lack of a better word.
Uh-huh.
And I almost lost her in the process, just even as a friend, because she liked me. She was interested in dating, and I just wasn't at that time. And finally opened my eyes, and I was like, man, the thing that's making me happy the most is right in front of me this whole time. And um, it's been, not paradise or happily ever after. Like, we will never paint our marriage or relationship as peachy. Like, it's always a
Mm-hmm.
work in progress. It's not easy, but
Of course, yeah, especially with little kids.
yeah, I mean, and that will throw whole new monkey wrenches into any relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, that's our little story, I guess. I mean, we just were met in college, very much a friendship now, love her to death. Um, Proud of hell as her, just with her career and how much I've seen her grow. Like, I literally knew her since she was 18 or 19, and to see
Mm-hmm.
where she is now in her profession and her career, and to overhear her on conference calls and managing people, and like, hosting these big meetings. It's like, that's my girl. Like, I'm proud of
That's
her. Like,
awesome.
she's pretty badass, so I love her to death.
Do you feel like because you guys were best friends first, that communication is easier for you because you kind of met on different terms?
I don't know. I don't know if that's in terms of communication. Like, it's hard to say, but we have a very open, very honest, very fun relationship. We're man and woman, and so many, like, communication, we're still working on that. Like, just this week,
Of
we
course,
have our
there's
little tips like everybody else. And but I think the biggest thing that we've grown together is that shit has hit the fan in more ways than one, in many different chapters of our life. And like, it, no matter what happens, we've always been together through it. It may
mm-hmm.
not be pretty, but when you get tried and tested as a couple, and whether that's boyfriend, girlfriend, husband and wife, like, it really shows you what you're capable of, because life isn't easy, and there will be challenges throughout that you
Mm-hmm.
really have to have trust and know what you two are capable of getting through. So we pride ourselves in just the crazy twists and turns of life, and being side by side through those. So
And
I always
when
encourage, I get worried when people say, oh, we're getting married, and they've been together for like 6, not that
months.
there's anything wrong with that, but I was like, have you had real, like, fights? Like, have you really gotten into it? Because like, you're gonna just have a really bad wake up call pretty soon if you don't know that, how to argue or how to disagree or
Right.
do
That makes total
when.
sense.
Yeah, so.
And
But
before you became a stay-at-home dad, did you think that it was going to be easy?
no,
Like,
no, no, no. I
okay.
mean, I never had any. I'm really cautious of expectations just in general in life. I
Mm-hmm.
really think they get you in trouble. So by no means did I think, oh, I'm going to do this and it's going to be a cakewalk. Like, I knew what I was getting into from a responsibility standpoint. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that scared me, like, more than I thought it was going to be easy. But I was scared because I'm like, man, if this kid is a screw up, if this kid
Uh-huh.
doesn't know how to read or write by the
Like
time
it's
he's
all
10, like,
me.
that's me. Like, that's me. There will be no other fingers except me, because I'm the one all day, when they're bait. So
Well, and you also saw them, you saw what it was like those first 3 months before you actually took the job.
true. I wasn't going in blind.
Right.
It wasn't and like I said, I mean, my wife and I, we didn't love the newborn phase. Like, when they're 2, 3 months, it's like, it's really just a lot of work. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no connection yet. Like, yes,
Mm-hmm.
it's beautiful. Yes, it's your child that you made, but like, from an emotional standpoint, there's no connection. They don't really respond to you. It's
Yeah, and
really,
it's just give, give, give,
yep.
give, give.
So it was because I mean, I went into it with that. It was
Right.
just a service.
Okay,
It
so
was
yeah.
we had a poop chart. I mean, I remember my wife would go to work and like I would keep tabs. I was like, we had a bottle, he had a pee, he had a poop, and it was like, we would review it when she got home. And like,
Oh,
that's what it was just like, you were just servicing these little people
I
for a
know, I
little bit.
know. I had an app that I was obsessed with naps and
Mhm.
how long they were breastfeeding, and oh my gosh, I did the same thing. It was just on my
Yeah.
phone.
Because you don't remember. I mean, I don't.
Of
Like,
course
I have a
not.
very short-term memory in life, and sleep is few and far between. It's like,
All parents.
I don't remember if they pooped once or twice or how
Yeah.
many ounces they had. But so we had a little
Hmm.
poop in bottle chart that helped us there.
So, how do you guys juggle bedtime routine? Do you split it up, take turns? Like, tell me what your afternoons look like.
I mean, we're both hands-on. Like, there's
Hmm.
really, I mean, some
You
nights we
take like
always,
one kid each?
it's usually tag team. I mean,
Hmm.
right now they're getting older, so like they were doing some showers. The bath times are getting a little more like
Oh,
there'll be a shower here and there, which is kind of nice
uh-huh.
because it's quick and easy. And
I
uh,
never thought of that.
yeah, so I mean that's in your future in a couple of
Uh-huh.
years at least. But no, I mean, yeah, we would have. I'm trying to think back when they were younger.
Hmm.
Bath and bedtime was just a circus. Like, I mean, it
Yeah.
was like, okay, you're gonna do the bath. Like, then I'll get them out. I'll get them dressed. Then you'll do the bottle. Then you'll do the rocking. Then it was like, but then we would change. We'd
Yeah,
be
yeah.
very
Whoever
fluid.
is.
And
Hmm.
now that they're older, it's gotten much easier. But man, those bedtime routines, those are a doozy when they're in
Yeah, I
diapers
mean,
and
I feel
bottles.
like I'm in the thick of it.
You are. It's crazy how fast it goes by. So I'm trying to like rewind my brain to those
Hmm.
nights when we were passing off, these little naked boys to each
Yeah, I
other.
know.
But it gets easier.
um,
There's hope. There's hope. It's still
yeah,
crazy,
yeah.
but it's not pooping in the bathtub or or that.
A
So,
code brown.
oh man, we only had one of those, so far, knock on wood. But
And so since you are home, your kids are in school now. Do you
kind of.
cook? Do you clean? Like what? Tell me about your day.
Um, yeah, like my wife, she does the majority of the cooking. I mean, God
Mhm.
bless her. I mean, I do lunches. I'm
Mhm.
lunch guy. I can do breakfast, but she really, I think she prides herself too. Like she also wants to cook meals for her
Mhm.
family. So I obviously want to help out as much as I can there. But yeah, day to day, it's a circus. There's cleaning. We actually just did this thing. I used to be dishes. Like dishes were my thing, and
Uh-huh.
for years I lived there. We would do so many dishes, and
Oh
then
my God, I
this
know. My
this
husband is
year,
in the
yeah,
same predicament right now.
yeah, we flopped. So she was laundry, I was dishes, and then this year we just tried this new thing where now I'm taking over laundry and she's doing dishes, and it's like something a little weird thing like that I recommend. Like if there's a painstaking chore that you do, like
Mhm.
try and see if your spouse wants to switch because they may hate doing something and it's just a change of scenery and a paradigm shift that I don't know. Like I actually don't mind like folding laundry. I
Mhm.
can listen to a podcast. I can watch sports while I do it. Like, but dishes, man, those were brutal.
Yeah. I think
And
my
they
husband
both
has a
never
shift.
end. So
I know. It is never ending. I think my husband likes doing the dishes. Although I
yeah,
still hate doing laundry. I'm like, how do I?
yeah, laundry is yeah. I mean, nobody really wants to hear about laundry, but it's like I get nervous that I would throw something in the dryer that shouldn't be dried. So like we're
Mhm.
still working on me learning what
What
shouldn't be
fabrics?
dried, what should be hanged up, and all that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I'm pretty domesticated. Like I'm at home. I'm trying to keep the house in order. I'm
Mhm.
trying my best to, the kids are the priority. My wife's been awesome in the sense where like she would never expect like the house to be clean when she got home. Like I would
Well, of
try and
course.
keep
I
it
mean,
tidy, but like she never ever once would come home and be like, "What the f were you doing all day?" Or like, "Geez, like you got it easy. Why is like there are toys all over it?" Like like
you're
she
like, well,
never.
we got a bunch of kids.
Yeah, like I mean, she knew she got it. She
Mhm.
supported me 1,000% in that sense, and I'm grateful for that because I know there's probably the opposite end of that in some relationships where
Yeah, of course.
there's an expectation that like you got to do the kids, but then you better make sure blah 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 like this is done and that, and it's like we both agreed like kids are priority. Like
Mhm.
we don't like. sleeping on top of toys or anything like that. But you know,
Does she wish that she could be a stay-at-home mom sometimes, or does she ever mention it?
yes, yeah, and that's probably that's the hardest thing about this is I very much wish I had the career that she has and just
Mm-hmm.
kind of skyrocketed in the way she does. And she very much wants nothing more than to be a mom and to
Mm-hmm.
have that as her only responsibility. So the hardest days for us are when she's got those brutal work, days, or she's dead tired, or somebody at work was, I don't know, politics. The
Mm-hmm.
politics of working
Of
anywhere
course.
can get you. And like, the guilt that comes with that. Like, I was like, I wish, we both joked that we wish there was like a switch button. Like when she
So you
wanted the
could tag
kids, like
team, just
she
like
tap in.
bedtime, right?
Yeah. Like she could tap in when I wanted nothing to do with my kids and I was just like
Mm-hmm.
done with it. And I want to be on adult stuff and conference calls and work trips. Like, and then like switch, but that's not life. So
Like Freaky Friday.
yeah, it'd be nice though, but no, that's not real life. But
I know.
yeah, she's amazing. I can't say enough nice things about her, and it is hard because growing up, actually, all I ever wanted was to make enough money professionally in something where my wife could solely focus on the kids. So,
Mm-hmm.
that's an insecurity of mine. You might want to
Mm-hmm.
say that, like, I'm doing the complete opposite, of that. But um,
It's
you know,
funny, life, it changes so quickly in front of our eyes, and I just think that maybe this was meant for you. You started your Instagram, you're being a spokesperson for other stay-at-home dads.
trying to,
Hmm.
yeah, it's been a very eye-opening experience, and personally, just from a mental health standpoint of my own and professional just perspective, like the weight I used to put on working and a title and all that, and the energy I would put into my former jobs for people that have simply carried on, now that I'm not there, it's like
Hmm.
really being with my kids every day, it's shown me what's really important. And
Hmm.
it's hard. It's easier said than done. I mean, when that's part of the reason I was successful in my previous roles is because I poured my heart into those roles. So it's
Hmm.
like it's easy to say on the outside, like, oh, I shouldn't have given them everything, but who knows how far along I would have gotten my career if I didn't treat it
Right.
like, it was my company or have the passion and the pride I did. So
Hmm.
I've tried to carry that over to being a dad, a stay-at-home dad. Really treat it, you know, seriously. Like it's an honor. And when I started, the one thing I didn't know how many years I was going to do it, but I knew when it ended, I wanted to look back and feel like, yeah, I kept my kids alive and all that fun stuff. Like I'm an ideas guy. I got crazy ideas. I always have, and I really wanted
Hmm.
to invest in things that I was passionate about and have something, because there is time that is allotted for you to explore things. You don't have your boss, you don't have this, like
Right.
you're in the comfort of your own home most days. And I was like, this is a time to really try and get some things that you care about off the ground. And again, with no expectations, I just listened to my heart and things that were important to me and tried to do due diligence and trying.
Hmm.
And here we are. So
Is one of those, I was looking through your Instagram, the Good Human Today project. Do you want to tell me about that?
yeah, I gotta, not to be like a strip show, but there it is. Be a good human today. So that that's a little mantra actually. Man, my wife is getting a lot of airtime tonight, but that's a phrase she would say every morning as she left to work. When I first started out, she would just tell us, "Hey, be good humans today. Be good humans. Be good." And it was every day something I would try and keep in the back of my mind with these guys, and a lesson that we want them to just carry as they get older. And we try and set the example. And when my son started preschool, I made it a little patch. I'm actually looking
Hmm.
at the backpack hanging up right over here, but I put it on his patch just as a weird, like, you're going off into the real world. Like,
Uh-huh,
this
that's
is what's so
adorable.
important to us, and we feel in our house, like just being kind and having an accepting heart and gratitude and kindness towards others. Like that's more important in our eyes than test scores and, college degrees. And I mean, college degrees are important, but just like what college you get into and all that,
Yeah.
like you really just want to raise good people and try and live by that too. So
So
put it
is
on his
the
backpack, and a bunch of parents at the school started asking. The teachers loved it.
uh-huh.
I put it into some stickers. I started handing those out, and then people asked for, my wife wanted one with a t-shirt on it. So we made a t-shirt, and then it was like everywhere we went, it got very positive response. And
Hmm.
I've never done anything like that before, but again, I had this opportunity to explore and to learn, and you can really find out anything on the internet these days and
That's
YouTube.
true.
And again, it's something I've never done before, so I encourage everyone to just risk
So it's
failing.
it's a
And
it's a shop.
it's an
You're
online
selling.
shop. I mean, we have some
Okay.
wearables. I don't know what it is. Like, it's not. I've never. It's a clothing brand. It's a movement. It's just a
Okay.
way, something we want to inspire other people to do. And if they want, we don't advertise it. It's all word of mouth. It's
Hmm.
just, if you see it and you like it, here's where you can get some more of it or pass it on and spread some good vibes. So
And then
goodhumantoday.com.
you also have Good Human Books.
Yeah, so I self-published a children's book as
Hmm.
well. That was just the handle on Instagram, Good Human Books. So when my son was really young and he started recognizing the emojis on my phone, he was probably one or two, if that. And I just had a crazy idea about, could I use emojis as a tool to teach him about emotions and feelings? That's another big thing in our house, is just
Hmm.
understanding. And his language was developing, so I made a little book, and I tried to see if I could line it up with the alphabet with A to Z emojis, and
Uh-huh.
he responded really well. And
That's cool.
yeah, so it's called H is for Happy. It's an
Oh,
ABC
okay.
book, an emoji ABC book about feelings. It's only on Amazon. But if you've got a little person you're trying to teach feelings to, and it's an icebreaker, if nothing else, like, it just gets the ball rolling. You'd be surprised how easily these kids can identify just these little yellow faces.
Hmm.
So
That's awesome. I think I'm gonna look into that for my 3-year-old for sure.
yeah, please do, or I'll send you a copy if you want. So
So tell me about your me time. I know moms are huge on self-care and things they do for themselves. Do you also exercise those things?
constantly trying to,
Hmm.
could always improve upon it. Last year, I kind of made it a goal to focus on my mental health. So I put, a lot of effort into just listening to myself, being honest with myself. There were a lot of big feelings and, I don't know, emotions that I was just not giving credit to, as much bigger, isolation of being a stay-at-home dad, pride, career, everything that I was just like sweeping under the rug is not a big deal. It kind of all came out one night. My wife and I were talking, and I was like, "Holy shit! Like, this is some big stuff, Evan." Like, and she had started going through some therapy just for herself and had sung its praises, and I watched it do amazing things with her. So I started going last year and
Hmm.
learned a lot. And then this year, I'm going on a tangent here. I know you were asking about me time, but
No, this is totally it.
okay, sorry, I wasn't sure if I was veering. But anyways, last year I really tried to invest in my mental health, and I felt like I grew tremendously. It was a crazy year, but it's real. Like, mental health is real, and
Absolutely.
I'm not some spokesperson for it, but I
Hmm.
want to be as open and honest about the hardships that I go through and have gone through, especially with dads. One
Hmm.
of the things through running Viral Dads is I've had so many men and dads come to me in the DMs or just on, comments and things like that. And so many of us share the same insecurities and fears, yet so little talk about it openly
Hmm.
or want to admit it, just because of the stereotype of, got to be strong, like,
Right.
crying is weak, and like, if you're feeling sad, like, something's wrong with you and all that. So I'm trying to
Hmm.
do my little teeny tiny part to break down those stigmas and encourage, I don't know, I call it sharing your struggle. Like, I think if you can find someone or a group of people who are going through what you're going through, like, sharing that is like really powerful, and you can heal through that. So just trying to be a voice for that. I do believe you should treat your mental health like your physical health. Like, you should exercise it, you should take it seriously. And it's cool to see more and more people and, more awareness being brought to it, just
Hmm.
over the recent years. So this year is my physical health. So last year was my mental health. I'm trying my damnedest to get kind of back in shape after
Hmm.
quarantining and many beers and fast food and gross
Well,
stuff.
I'm proud of you for putting mental first, though. That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't planned that way, but it was just
Hmm.
kind of like, I mean, my gym membership I had to cancel last year, so I was like, I can invest in my mind a little bit and try
Yeah.
and grow there. So
Did you use online therapy, or how did you, was it really last year, like 2020, or?
it was like, yeah, but yeah. So I'm trying to think when my first like appointment was, but
Hmm.
it was before all that happened, but not for a lot of it went then via Zoom, like where I was
Okay.
talking to, my therapist via Zoom. And so that was kind of a weird way to kick it
But I
off. But
feel like, it's almost the same, you're still getting it out there, you're digging deep within yourself. I mean, I think that's great.
yeah, whether that's via Zoom, whether that's via the internet, whether that's just companionship you find in somebody, you know, through Instagram or Facebook, like I don't know, there's many different ways to express, and it is I think the biggest benefit is just talking to somebody who's unbiased, like they're not a family member, they're not your spouse, they're not a friend who's known you for so long,
Hmm.
especially a professional. They know what they're doing and they can help guide you through your headspace in a tremendous way. So highly
What would
recommend it.
be, I absolutely, what would be some tips that you would give another stay-at-home dad if they're feeling kind of the way you were?
Yeah, I mean that's what motivates me. I made my personal Instagram public. I've kept it private for so long. I saw another, dad on social media or at a conference. He was speaking about how staying private doesn't help anybody, and that
Hmm.
really stuck with me. Actually, I think it was in a movie, Dads. There's a movie called Dads on Apple TV that I watched where he referenced it, and it stuck with me because the first like year, 2 years of being a stay-at-home dad, I didn't brag about it. I didn't tell people about it. Like I was still adjusting my identity to this new role. And then
Hmm.
towards the last couple of years, I've taken a tremendous amount of pride with it and want to be as outspoken as possible. By no means am I an expert. By no means do I know what I'm doing. Like I
I,
really am winging
yeah.
it, but like I have to share my voice because there's more and more men doing what I'm doing, but it's
Hmm.
still very rare. And I don't know. I just felt like if I'm not going to speak up about it, who is? Like I got to do my little part and share the good and the bad. So
Yeah, and you have this huge platform now.
yeah, and that's in essence why I started it. Was I just saw this void? Like there was a number of dad social media meme pages, but they were all really playing, I don't know, the same song. It was the white New Balances and all the jokes about dads that
Really lighthearted
yeah, and I
memes.
wanted something a little deeper. Like I still think humor is the tone of viral dads, but like I
Hmm.
wanted to shine a positive light on dads who are putting in the work, dads who love being a dad, emotional moments of, a father and his daughter or a father and a son.
Hmm.
Just anything that can show that realness that comes with being a dad. Because there wasn't a lot out there. Like I was following when I started being a stay-at-home dad, I was following so many of these
Moms.
big awesome pages and they were all moms. And I'm like, man, like I wish there was more of a dad community. So I don't know. I
That's
just
great.
I created it in the palm of my hands one night. I just started sharing and making some funny memes, I thought, and it grew to 10,000 followers rather quickly. And I actually didn't tell anybody about it until it hit 10,000 followers. I was like,
Hmm.
I'm just going to just see if there's a space for this, if people resonate with it. And it really happened quick. And when it hit 10,000 followers, it's like, okay, like there's some people that enjoy what I'm putting out. And some of
Hmm.
it was, a lot of it is shared content. I do make some stupid memes from time to time, but yeah, I try and just share.
I did
They're
the
great
same
dads
thing.
doing great things. So
Uh-huh. Yeah, I did the same thing. I kept mine private for a while, and people would ask me, is that you? Because I had a different name a long time ago. And eventually I was like, yeah, it's me. And then, it kind of coming out
yeah.
party.
Well, I don't have a podcast, but I want to interview you one day because you, my friend, are killing it, and
Thank you.
I need some pointers and tips offline or something because it takes me like 2 weeks to make one TikTok, and you're just churning them out, and I'm still like I feel like I'm 80 years
That is
old.
like the number one question is like my videos. Honestly, I have like, nap time. I live by naps. I
Oh
have
yeah,
like
I miss it.
15 minutes, I swear, after I get other things that are more pressing done, and I'm like, gotta go.
Yep. Yeah, I was lucky. My boys, they napped for a long time, and God
Hmm.
bless it, because that's when I would do this. I would do my post
Yeah.
nap time. I would do my post at nap time or when they were in bed at night.
Yep.
But I mean, I did the children's book in nap time. It's
Hmm.
like those were those windows where, yeah, you had to clean bottles and prep whatever for when they wake. But like, there's opportunity, and I tried to seize it, and that's awesome that
Hmm.
you're doing the same. So
Oh, thank you. Um, so let's see.
I don't even remember where that question started. I think it
Me
was something
neither.
about me time, but
Yeah, yeah. But so do you you resonate a lot with the mom accounts too? We were talking about that. You really see yourself in those as a stay-at-home dad?
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, just so much of it is relatable. Like in my situation, like
Hmm.
just getting kids ready for school, and just messy kids and tantrums and Roblox and pickup lines and all that. It's just, yeah. I mean, I get it. like
Yeah,
the,
it doesn't matter if you're a mom or a dad, we
Mhm.
still, I guess, do have the same feelings. Do you also get like touched out by the end of the day? Like you just want to stiff arm your kids?
Um, yeah, I mean, I've never called it touched out. I mean, my kids
Hmm.
certainly are climbing on me and hitting me in the junk and wrestling all day. I'm more of a noise like tap out. Like I don't really mind touch. Like I'm fine, but it's like I'm very sensitive to the noise. I'm always hearing now that they don't nap. It's like there's a show on, or that's their e-learning. And my son, he's in dual language kindergarten
Hmm.
actually, and like, hearing a classroom full of these kids, on a Zoom class, and like, and God bless my wife, she's a very loud person. Like I am a quiet person. She is Miss Professional all day, so she gets in the door and it's just, like
Uh-huh.
she lets it all out, and I'm just like, oh my God, like it's yeah. So I enjoy peace and quiet. Like I definitely get my limits reached when I'm like, oh my gosh, my head is gonna explode. Like I just want to relax, and like
Hmm.
woosah, no video games in the background, no Blippi, any of that.
Oh my
So
God. Don't say the B word.
I
Do
dressed
you
up as him for Halloween 2 years
you
ago. I don't
did.
know if you ever saw. I think I posted it, but yeah, it was a hit. My kids love them
That's so
some
funny.
Blippi. They're a little bit
Did you
grown out
did
of
you
it.
shave it shorter so you look just
It
like
was
him?
short. Yeah, this is about as long as I've ever gone. I'm
Uh-huh.
actually We're going out of town this weekend into a cabin in the woods, and I was like, I'm gonna try and fit the part a little bit. So I'm
That's
doing
so nice.
on the beard a
So,
little bit.
how do you two stay connected? Like, I think of this as a question I would ask other moms with their
Mhm.
husbands. So, how do you two stay tight?
I mean, we're like too tight. I mean, especially with the last year, like we are just on top of each other. Like she was able to work from home for a majority, so we actually saw a lot of each other last year. We certainly can always improve on mandatory date nights, like
Hmm.
that's just
So, do
something.
you do that or no?
No, like there's no set like Fridays, especially you can't go out to eat anywhere. We're in Illinois, like everything just started to reopen, and
Hmm.
but no, I mean, it's something we both feel we should be more conscious of. And if you're not, you lose track of it. And then it's like, oh my gosh, like it's been 3 months since we had a date or did anything without the kids.
Hmm.
Um, and I think part of the compromising that we had to go through was that she missed the kids so much. Like I said, she
Right,
only
right.
wanted to be around them. So for this is only going to be our second trip away with no kids. So our
Oh,
kids came
okay.
with us everywhere.
Of
We
course,
didn't
yeah,
do,
because she wants as much time with
yeah.
them as
And,
possible.
that was a little hard for me because I was like, oh, just do anything to just like go somewhere fun or tropical with just you for a couple. But it's like, I get that she loves them so much and she's away from them more than she ever dreamt of. And like,
Hmm.
I have to respect that she wants to just soak them up as much as possible. So,
Of course.
we did a lot of family vacations and family trips and things like that. But yeah, we're now both getting more aligned in like the importance of one on one.
Hmm.
Um, and gonna start kind of doing more, hopefully just me and her, whether it's, an Airbnb somewhere or just even a night on the town with her. So
So do you have family close by that would watch the kids, or would that be
yeah,
okay?
yeah. God bless them. Her parents
That's
live,
awesome.
15 minutes away. My
Hmm.
mom, I grew up in Wisconsin. She moved down to Illinois, so she's probably 40 minutes away. And
Oh, that's awesome.
oh my gosh, I could sing my mom's praises, till the cows come home. But like, I would see her every week. I mean, we had a
Hmm.
grandma day where I could just take the boys up there, and it was such a blessing and such a relief to have some help. And they were always so well behaved at grandma's house. It was
Of
like a
course,
little mini vacation.
we have Grandma Day too. Ours is Sunday and
Oh,
Wednesday now.
best. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we did a randomly enough, we had a year in California actually pre-kids. We kind
Hmm.
of just rolled the dice. We were like, we're young, we didn't own a house. I had a job offer, we jumped on it, and we lived in the Bay Area for a year before kids. And we got pregnant out there, and both felt very strong. We had no family out there. It was just,
Yeah.
her brother was in San Diego. That was about the closest one, but
Hmm.
it was great because we had a year where we had no commitments. We had no friends out there. We had no
Hmm.
family. And especially before kids, like we really, it wasn't the smoothest part of our life. Like a lot of stuff went wrong out there, but like it went wrong together. Like we were by each
Hmm.
other's side. And I don't know, we're both from the Midwest, and I wanted our kids to grow up next to their grandparents. And really, I didn't get to do that much when I was younger, and mine
Hmm.
lived on the East Coast. So we're very lucky that we have them. And came back home to the Midwest to be by Grammy and Papa and Grandma. So
I love that. So
yeah.
before the pandemic and when your kids were a little bit younger, because I know a lot of moms ask me, like, what do you do all day? What did you do with your kids?
Oh, that was the name of the game. Like
It's
people
like
have asked me
hustle.
that over and
It's a
over
hustle.
again. It's like, what do you do? What do you do? You have a schedule? Do you? And I think every parent approaches it different. I've met moms who really lay out day to day, like this is what, and we kind of had a loose schedule. Like we had grandma days where one day a week we would go there, but I'm on the fly, going back. I don't plan too much, and especially
Hmm.
with kids, like you also never know, like who's gonna be throwing up that day, like who's gonna be just in a mood, and you don't want to do anything with them at
I
all.
know.
It's like lay in bed and watch a movie. So my biggest thing was like getting out of the house, and that's what scared me about the pandemic. Is my worst days were like winter days, like when we
Hmm.
just did nothing but stay in the house because we would all the boys, they would be terrible. I would
I know.
just be at my wits end. So like when the pandemic hit, I was like, oh my god, we're gonna be stuck for how long? Like no museums, no playgrounds, no anything. And I was
I
like,
know.
but my wife, she got to work from home, and it offset everything. Like they were so content that all four of us were together,
Uh huh.
and it lasted so long. It was like this little bubble. It was like a little snow globe where
Uh
like
huh.
it was crazy because like we were just stuck, but like it was also really, my kids blew me away that they didn't fuss. They never, I mean, they fuss, but like
Yeah.
in terms of what I thought it was going to be, and
Hmm.
then looking at what it really was special. Like, and we both were conscious of how unique the situation was, and like how quickly they were growing up. Like, I had a really hard time when my oldest son turned 5. Like, for some reason,
Hmm.
I was like, he's halfway to 10. Like, that's almost it. But I don't know. So we really milked
So please
the
tell me you
togetherness.
cried too, right? You cry at birthdays?
Oh, this year I
Well,
didn't.
five.
This
I
year
mean,
I
you're
didn't. I handled 6 a lot better than I handled 5, but 5 was waterworks. I mean, it was something about it. Like I just really felt like it was. I don't know. Going from 4 to 5 was like that's a big jump. Like
mm-hmm.
not these little pressure. Like they're becoming little people, and I don't know. 5 to 6, I was like, I'm ready for him to be like. I want him to go to school. Like he's killing like school. He loves it. He's getting these friends. I'm like ready for him to like
Mm-hmm.
not be going to college, but like I'm excited for him after the year he's had with like Zoom school, and poor
Yeah.
kid has just been rolling with the punches of the pandemic, so to speak. So, but
Mm-hmm. I think we all have our ages that like hurt us.
oh yeah, yeah,
My youngest turning 1, like I could not handle it because he's most likely our last baby, and it's
oh
like
yeah,
I'm done with that crazy phase again,
yeah. It's
thankfully and unthankfully.
yeah, we're done with 2 as well, and it was like as my son Bobby, my younger one, like the little baby stuff started, the words he would mispronounce and like the
Mm-hmm.
rocking that he doesn't need anymore. And he has a little bit of a lisp, but it's like slowly going away. And
Oh
it's just
no.
these little, and it's like, that's the light. Like, yeah, you're
Yeah.
happy the pacifiers are gone in the bottles, but like you do not want to see some of that just cute, precious baby stuff go,
I
especially when
know.
it's the last of it for you. So cherish it as
Oh
crazy as it is.
my gosh. Ugh. I'm a mess. My youngest, oh my gosh, I also was weird about the baby phase. I wasn't sure it was like for me. It was really hard. I was really anxious. But the second time, I don't know if you felt the same way. It was just a world of difference
Mm-hmm.
being a mom slash dad the second time.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. First to second, there's a whole different range of emotions that come with it. I mean, my wife primarily handled it much different than I did.
Mm-hmm.
Pregnant, when she was pregnant, it was very hard for her. The first one we were so excited about, like it was so special, it was so beautiful. It was just this, and then the second one we got pregnant, quicker than we were anticipating, and we were excited, but like she that carried a lot of guilt. I hope it's okay, I'm sure, but like she had a really hard time because she didn't feel the level she felt for the first one. She was obviously excited about it,
Mm-hmm.
but the fact that she knew it was like mixed with nerves and how are we going to do this, like she felt really bad. She's like, I'm not giving this baby what I gave the first one, or my levels or my experience is so different. So but now it's like she's just like, how could I ever be scared? Like, we did it, we
Yeah.
figured it out, and it's all
I
right.
mean, I think I can speak for most moms. The second pregnancy also just doesn't hit the same. It's
Yeah,
not your
and I'm
first.
purely I shouldn't even try to speak on like the experience
No,
of
no, but I mean,
creating.
you're right though, and it's normal that she felt that way. It
Yeah,
is it's
and it was
totally
hard,
different.
because like as a man, I can
Hmm.
speak as a man and a supportive husband or attempting to be supportive. Like sometimes I just felt helpless. Like I really felt like I can't take this baby out of her. Like I can't. I mean, not in that sense, but it was like I wish I could do something to lighten her load, or stop her from feeling the way she is, or help her carry the baby. Like if I could plop it into my belly, I would, but we can't.
Hmm.
And so that was hard because you see the emotional roller coaster that your spouse is going through, and you do your best to get whatever they want to make it easy, but sometimes that's still not enough. And as a caring and supportive husband, or trying to be, that's hard to swallow when like
Hmm.
she's going through a hard time, and you're doing everything you can, and sometimes it's not enough. So
Do you ever call your wife? Or, well, since she's been home, I mean, it'll be a little different. But back in the day, you know how we talk about moms that we call our husband and we're like, our kids they're crazy. Come home now. The kind of a thing. Did you do that too to her?
like the SOS calls,
Yeah, just like listen
yeah,
to this bullshit, like whatever is happening.
yeah, and it's, of course I'm guilty of that. And we our house before where we live now, she actually was a stoplight away, so
Oh.
her car didn't even warm up in the winter. But so like I was lucky because when I had serious problems, like she
Uh-huh.
could run home, and she came home for almost every lunch, just to see
Oh,
them.
that's
So
nice.
yeah, we had it very good in that sense, where like should something go wrong, she wasn't like across the country. She
Mm-hmm.
was a couple stoplights away, and that was a huge help to me as I was juggling them as babies. But yeah, I think I'm certainly guilty. Like my biggest thing I try and work on is not complain. Like it's so easy for her to walk through the door and me just to rattle off how bad the
Mm-hmm.
boys have been, or like, oh my god, I'm so excited, exhausted, like, or you take them, or I try and stay out of her hair during the day. Like I know she doesn't need to necessarily hear it, and but she likes being involved. Like she calls every lunchtime. When I pick them up from school now, she's calls them right at pickup time to ask how their day is. Like
Mm-hmm.
even though she's at her office, she's still as involved as possible, and we FaceTime frequently. But yeah, I mean, when more so when they were babies, there were times I will be open and honest that like there were a handful of times where I called her and I just was like, I can't fucking do this. Like,
Yeah. Trust
and
me, I do it too.
yeah, and like I have to share that because like, yes, it's a beautiful experience, but like I got pushed to my limits several times, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just one of like, yeah, like it's crazy
It's
and
hard. It's
it's
so
very
hard. Trust
hard.
me.
And like,
I get it.
yeah, like a handful of times, like I think it's only been like less than 5 times where I was like, sure, I'm done with it. And I called
Mm-hmm.
her and I was like, whatever it takes, I can't do this anymore. Like I would feel guilty that like I'm not doing them any good. Like they're crying, I'm screaming and losing my mind. And like,
Mm-hmm.
this isn't good for anybody. I got to get out of here. But like, yeah, like through my personal growth, I guess I found healthier ways to channel that and calm myself down in those moments where shit's hitting the fan and tantrums are happening and
Mm-hmm.
you kind of lose your mind. But
Oh my God, yeah. Trust
yeah,
me. I'm in it right now.
that's it. Don't think you're an alien. Like that's why I have to share those weak moments, because if I don't, you may think nobody else is going through what I'm going through. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a comedy of errors, and some days just absolutely you just got to get away from it. And I think that's like what helped me too, is like in those moments, like sometimes screaming back at them or trying to make sense of it or negotiating with the toddler, or like you just can't. Like sometimes you just have to take a deep breath, go in your bedroom or your closet and like
Mm-hmm.
gather yourself and then regroup and try and move on from it. So
Your kids, since they're older now and so mature, do you still go through that? I
do
mean,
I
they
still
take
go through?
showers, so they're like mini adults.
Oh, I know, pretty much, right? But yeah, I there's still weak moments. There's still days that I've, you know, more so now. I think as they've gotten older, it's like you give them so much that like you start to hold them in a, like an adult. You're like, I like if you do like a really big special day, or like,
Mm-hmm.
kind of recall something where we just bent over backwards for them. Like my wife called off work. We had like a yes day where like we just kind of like let them kind of guide the day. And then
Mm-hmm.
that night, like it just hit the fan. Like they were just rotten. They didn't listen. And it was like, then you feel like you're mad at them. You're like, how could you be so ungrateful?
Yeah.
Like we just did this for you. And like, it's hard to balance that because you like, what they're capable, and like you've seen them be appreciative and gracious and thankful and well behaved. And then you just try and make
Yeah.
sense of
Well,
that and have no
that's what
answer.
it is. You try to reason with it, and you're like, "What?" But they are still kids. I think
Yep. Yeah.
they're allowed to be like that. I've always heard what goes up must come down. So whenever you have a really good day,
Yeah.
or a really good, hour, it's gonna come down.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think I read something that like the our brains don't fully develop like decision making skills, like proper decision making, till you're like in your early 20s. Like even up to your 20s, your mind is still learning how
Uh-huh.
to properly. So like expecting a toddler to have it all figured out or have, I don't know, it's like wildly unrealistic. So
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Do you do you want to go back to work, the conventional work kind of a job, or do you want to see where your projects go?
yeah, I mean, I would love to say my all my passion projects are, raking in the dough and we've got college covered, but like no, they're passion projects. I want to take them more seriously. I think when my kids are in school, like actually in school, not like a
Mm-hmm.
couple hours here and there, I want to really see them invest more in them.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, I'll have to go back to work eventually. And part of that excites me. Part of that scares me. I'm not going to go back to the industry that I was in. So, I mean, push comes to shove. If I needed to find a job, I can tap my network there. But
Mm-hmm.
that industry burnt me out. I was traveling a lot. The benefit of what I was investing in it, especially now as a family man and a dad who wants to be here and not all over the country. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not interested necessarily in the rat race and corporate ladder. So what that next chapter will be in my professional career is a big old question mark that keeps me up
Okay.
at night. But yeah, I mean, I've grown personally so much in this chapter of my life that I have some clarity in like where I want to go and where my values stand and where I want to put my time, and effort into. So it's just going to be kind of when and where that is, that we'll find out, I guess. But
It'll find you, I think.
yeah, I'll never stop coming up with crazy ideas. And, I told my wife, like, get used to it. Like, you've known me long enough that, like, it's a gift and a curse. Like, I always have some crazy, wild idea.
Yeah.
It just won't ever end. It may not turn into anything. It probably won't. But, like, I just love creating. I like connecting. It's never been easier to take a risk and to learn and try, with the internet and with YouTube and Google. Like, anything you've ever dreamed of doing, you can learn. I don't know, I shouldn't say anything, but, like, now's the time. Like, the resources are there. And if I can get some things off the ground and gain some traction and be having cool podcast interviews with people like you, then by God, anybody can do it.
So tell me about your Instagram a little bit more too. Like, what made you start it? Obviously, I know the connection part, but, like, what was the, like, okay, I'm gonna do it now kind of moment?
Yeah, I think I just kind of I focused my mind as a stay-at-home dad into starting things that I could control with little or no money. Like, everything I've done has been bootstrapped. Like, the book didn't have any investment. The Instagram was no investment. The clothing line, same thing. Like, just
That's
very
a good way to start.
upfront. Yeah, I mean, and technically that's how you should do it. But I wasn't trying to create a big multi-million-dollar startup that needed investors or anything like that. But no, Viral Dads was just honestly triggered in a way from seeing content being shared that really shined. I have to be careful because it did trigger me. I saw a lot of posts of just from these mom accounts that were making light-hearted jokes about, their husbands or their deadbeat, dads. And I get it. They're out there. We're easy targets for sure. And I am far from a perfect dad, but I just, after following so many of them and loving so much of what they did that wasn't that level of humor, and then constantly seeing that chopped in, I just was like, oh, I wish there was something that, like, lifted dads up. And I felt there was memes about dads, there was funny videos about dads, and, like, cargo shorts and, New Balances and lawnmowers, but I was like, there wasn't, like, a celebration of great dads and people who love being a dad and guys who are open and honest about how much they like being a dad. So I don't know, I created, at Viral Dads, and I just started sharing content that I felt was in that lens, trying to shine a more positive light on men who are putting in the work, who love being a dad, and mix it with humor. I do think humor is the best medicine, and I certainly share content just to help people and parents, moms and dads. I have primarily mom followers on Viral Dads, but a good laugh after a crazy shit show of a day as a parent goes a long way. I have tremendous respect for so many accounts who have been able to provide me with that before Viral Dads even started. I think I realized that, like, that's an aid. Like, when I could have a shit show of a day, but I could, like, put my kids down, go on Instagram and see that there's another dad who, like, was ready to just blow his brains out because his kids were so terrible. It just was like, haha, yeah, I get that. That's me. Or, like, a mom who just, like, was going through exactly what I was going through. It was, like, it just seemed healthy to me. And I was like, if I could help other parents feel less alone, dads or moms, like, that's what motivates me. Is, like, I felt the difference when I consumed that content that made me feel like my crazy, chaotic life as a new dad, I wasn't alone, because it is isolating, especially as a stay-at-home dad. You feel like nobody else is doing what you're doing. So I wanted to create something that helped, and I'm putting my name out there to just any dad who feels alone, or mom. Like, hit me up. Like, let's trade, stories of how crappy or crazy our day was, and just try and laugh about it, because that's real life. So,
were you expecting to have a lot of moms following you? Were you expecting to have mostly dads?
Expectations. I didn't know. I had zero expectations. I know social media is primarily filled with females, I think, if you go by the numbers, or maybe not. I don't know, but no, it's fine. Like, I love it. I respect, the moms and the dads that come and get a laugh from things that I share or that I create. But it's just me. I'm just a dad. Like, people are like, hey guys, we love your stuff. Like, what can we? And I'm like, it's not guys, it's me. Like I'm a dad who like is just juggling this along with the rest of my chaotic life. But
Mm-hmm.
no, I love it. It's great. And there may or
Yeah, I
may
was gonna
not be a,
ask,
you know.
do you get a lot of people who message that to you too, all the time?
Um, I just in general, I think people assume it's I don't know, it's kind of I don't really put my personal face on viral dads. That's kind of why I've opened up my This American Dad profile is to share more
Mm-hmm.
personal stuff. But most of what I share in Viral Dads is just curated content, not so much my life per se. So people, I think, just assume this must be like some media company or
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they assume, but I try and make it as personable as possible and let people know that this isn't like some media conglomerate. This is just a dad who's living a very similar, crazy, chaotic life with kids as you. So, and I think
Have
that's
you?
what people want. I think that's why you're so successful. I think that's why a lot of people who aren't afraid of putting their name and their face and their, messy house or whatever it may be, like people crave that and they want authenticity. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
easy. Like I commend anybody because I feel awkward every time I do any type of post involving myself. But
I know. Have you thought about putting yourself more out there on Viral Dads?
I think I know I time for time I put little tweets or thoughts, but I don't know. I don't think I'm that interesting. Like
Oh,
per
none of us
se.
think our own lives are interesting.
Yeah, but I think that's why recently I opened up my This American Dad is to try and for those who want a deeper look into like pictures of my kids and my day-to-day life as a
Mm-hmm.
stay-at-home dad, they can kind of check it out over there. So keeping
And
them
you
in
put that in your bio too on Viral Dads. I think I saw.
yeah, so they can find me. I mean, I just threw my little handle up there, but I think it's two different people. Some people just want laughs. Some people want to see kids fall. Some people want, dad jokes. And then
Uh-huh.
some people really care about like what it's like to be a stay-at-home dad. So they can come find me on my personal account.
That's awesome. Well, thanks
Yeah, of
again for
course.
talking to me today. I have two questions that I ask everyone at the end of the show, and it's always obviously I word it as motherhood, but for you, parenthood.
Yeah.
So, what is your least favorite part of parenthood and your favorite part of parenthood? Because, again, in my goal about normalizing motherhood and parenthood, it's okay to admit that you have a least favorite part.
Mm-hmm. Least favorite part.
It could
I
be
love I love that I
before.
didn't know about this question beforehand because it's really, I'm trying to I'll go right off the cuff. I think my least favorite part is like guilt, like after a really hard day, like or just the looming guilt that you might have or pressure of like, am I doing enough? Like it's very easy to I know at least for me, maybe I'm alone, but like you worry, am I doing enough? And it keeps you up at night and you want to just give your kid the world and more. And it's so easy to find little ways where you can doubt that you're doing enough, that you can doubt that you are exposing them to enough cultural things or the right
Mm-hmm.
camps or the right sports or the right, because they're little moldable minds right now. And it's been heavy on me as a stay-at-home dad who's so involved to just
Mm-hmm.
stomach that like geez, like I hope you're doing it right, man, because like now's the time. And like that's heavy stuff.
Yeah,
And
for sure. I mean, that's literally what we call mom guilt. You have
yeah,
dad guilt. I'm so
yeah.
sorry. I was
Oh,
not.
it's
I
almost
didn't
not like
want you to have dad guilt.
no. And I will almost say it's not as I vomit it out of my mouth a little bit more. It's like the pressure, just the constant like
Yeah.
pressure you feel to do more and more and more and more and more of the right. Like it's hard, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that weighs on a lot of dads who push themselves, to work more and more and more and more, and then they feel guilty about, oh, I'm not doing enough at home, and to moms who are just constantly, am I doing the right things, and should I be doing more? And it's heavy. Like there's a heaviness to being a parent that is normal, but it's also hard. And
Yeah, for sure.
parenthood's full of cute, giggles and laughs and babies, but I think as adults, like it comes with a lot of heaviness too. So yeah, find your own way to kind of wrap your head around that and then navigate it. I think is something that has benefited me, find a way to come to peace to what you're doing is enough, and that you are gonna be fine, and you've come this far, and you love your kid, and that's all that matters. You'll figure out the rest. So that's important. That makes the weight feel a lot less.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then your favorite?
favorite part, oh my gosh. I think having little moments that you think about, like I played basketball my whole life. And then, I put a basketball hoop in our driveway last summer or 2 summers ago, and like playing basketball with my kids in my driveway was like something I call it a daddy dream come true. But like
That's
just these
cute.
little moments like that, or like my mom saved a lot of my toys as a kid. So like going through my old Legos and building things with my kids that I used to build when I was 6 years old or five, like it's really cool. Like
That is
it's just
cool.
a very, very cool thing to share with your kid. So I dig stuff about that. Like that's the fun stuff. That's the special stuff. I take a lot of pictures because I have a short-term memory. And yeah, like I try and capture it all. Their little voices, they're going to be changing. So like I try and document it all. And I've loved looking back, through the
Mm-hmm.
years with iPhones. Like now you can just see like on this day 4 years ago, like you were
Yeah.
at this playground. So it's just fun. So I think that's it. Find a way. I don't know, I'm not trying to be profound, but like I always encourage people like to find a way to do something you love with your kid. No matter what it is, I think your child will resonate with that. And the time you're spending with them, like whether you like crocheting, like try and crochet with your kid, and like more often than not, they'll eat it up. Sometimes they might not be interested, but like if you can find a happy medium where like they're engaged in doing something you love or used to love or have a connection to, that's the magic stuff right there. So do more of that. Feels
I
pretty good.
love it. Well, thanks again, Evan. This has been wonderful. I think
Thank you.
all of your messages about being a great dad and a good human, I think that it stands out. And to know that,
Trying.
the way you feel.
Yeah, I'm just aspiring to be all the above. So
Well, and just that, again, that they're not alone. Moms are not alone. Dads are not alone. Like we all go through the same stuff.
that's right.
And it's kind of cool to see that today. So thank you.
Yeah, I hope I shed a little bit of an open, honest light to a dad's perspective or a stay-at-home dad.
Absolutely.
Didn't ramble too much, but thank you for the opportunity. Don't be a stranger. Anybody listening, dads especially, hit me up. I love it. Let's talk about it and share your struggle. And yeah, thank you so much. I really want to pick your brain though one of these days because you
You
got some
can
good
any
stuff
day.
going
You just
on
let me know.
over
We'll
there.
schedule a
Well,
couple
thank you.
days, a couple times in advance.
Yeah, be like phone tag, like Zoom tag. But
And
no,
then
thank you. I really do appreciate it. I know it's Friday night. I know you probably got better things to do. So thanks for
I'm a stay-at-home mom. There's no
listening
Fridays.
to me gab. But I hope your children sleep very well tonight. And thanks again. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Alrighty. Nice chatting with you.
Yes. Bye.
Bye. And thank you to everyone who is still listening. Don't forget to subscribe on my website at fruitsofmotherhood.com to be the first to hear about new blog posts, podcasts, videos, everything. Thanks again. Bye. Hey, Mama. Do you enjoy a nice glass of wine after or during a long day of motherhood? Guess what? Me too. I want to tell you about Revel Wine Club. It's my new favorite way to get wine. Revel Wine Club is a personalized wine service tailored to your taste, budget, and lifestyle that makes buying great wines super easy. Tell them what type of wine you like, how many bottles, choose red, white, or both. Tell them how often you'd like each shipment. Receive, sip, and enjoy, girl. Check out which wine I'm drinking right now by going to fruitsofmotherhood.com/wine. The way we spend our money has changed a lot since we've had children. So to help with the mom guilt and the need to still buy cute things, the Fruits of Motherhood shop is donating proceeds of each sale to Every Mother Counts. EveryMotherCounts.org is a nonprofit organization that works to improve access to quality maternity care around the world. Just buy a hat, a shirt, or anything else in the Fruits of Motherhood shop, and you help a mama in need. Just go to fruitsofmotherhood.com/shop and use the code podcast to get 10% off anything in the store. That's fruitsofmotherhood.com/shop, promo code podcast.